Chapter 17, A Long Night. A light was on in the vet's surgery, but the door was locked. Nadine knocked loudly on the front doors. A moment later, Kylie, the nurse, came through the reception area and over to the doors. Above her, the lights flickered on, flooding the room with a strange, pale light. "Come on in," she said. Nadine, Martin, Daniel and their mother trooped into the surgery. The vet came out just then. "How is he?" Nadine asked quietly. "Well," he began, "we've operated on him now and is stable." "Is he going to be okay?" she asked for the second time that day. "Yes, he'll be sore for a while, and I can't really say how great those legs are going to be, but with lots of rest and lots of love, he'll make a good recovery." "Can I see him?" The vet frowned. "No, he's still unconscious and doesn't look too good. Come back tomorrow when he's awake and a bit better. Okay?" Nadine nodded, tears falling again, too choked to speak. Martin took over. "Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow." They all walked out and into the police car, Nadine crying. Marion put her arms around Nadine's shoulders. Quietly, numbly, the four of them trooped up the back step. Marion switched on all the lights, and Martin went out to let the dogs off before giving them something to eat. The house felt strangely silent and empty, and although their mother offered him a cup of coffee, the policeman wished them a good night. Nadine went to the bathroom and poured herself a bath, thankful that at least this time there was hot water when she really needed it. All her muscles ached, and though she hadn't eaten anything except a couple of biscuits since breakfast, she had no appetite. She just wanted to get clean and climb into bed. As she lay soaking, she heard her mother through the wall, talking on the phone, probably calling one of her friends from town. She wondered what was going to happen to them now. Where would they go? What would they do? She got out of the bath and into her pajamas and padded out to the kitchen to get a drink of water. Marion and the boys were sitting at the table. "Sit down," her mother said quietly. Nadine put the glass back and sat at the table. "We have to talk about what we're going to do about this. Ted could be away for a few days and there's work to be done." Nadine looked up at her mother. "What? Aren't we going to go back?" "Back where, Nadine? There's no back for us to go to." The lines of her mother's face deepened. Nadine looked around at her brothers. "Tell her," she cried. "Tell her about everything." "We did," Daniel answered, "and Marion believes us, but we can't just leave the stock and the dogs." "I don't believe you guys," Nadine choked. "After all we've been through, you want to stay?" Martin grabbed her hand. "Think about it, Nadine. We don't have anywhere to live but here. Do you really want to go back to a dumpy little flat with smelly neighbours and noise?" It was a choice of two bad things as far as Nadine was concerned. "What about Ted?" she asked. "This is his home too," Marion said quietly. Martin snorted. "You're kidding, right?" "No, I'm not. After all he did?" Nadine got up because her stomach hurt. This was too much. Was she never going to be free of the man? She returned to the cupboard and got the glass out again. As she turned on the tap, she saw that her hands were shaking. The tears began to fall again, and she tasted the salt as she drank. "But Ma," she started, "how can you stay with him now?" Marion wrung her hands. "It's not so cut and dry." Martin stood up. "This sucks. I'm going to bed." He walked off to his room. Nadine put her glass on the table and looked down at her mother. "Are you saying that you would rather stay with him than care what we think?" Marion didn't answer. Nadine felt a deep sadness inside and went into her room. She got into bed, and as she reached over to turn the lamp off, saw that it was nearly 10 o'clock. She was stuffed, but sleep did not come as she thought about her mother and what the day had brought. Why couldn't it just all go away, all the bad stuff? They had got the bad man. Now their lives should be okay again, but it didn't look like it was going to be that way. Nadine rolled onto her stomach and hugged her pillow. She thought about Hawkeye and wondered how he was. She thought about the boys and about Marion. She even thought about Ted locked up in a cell at the station. As she fell into an exhausted sleep, Nadine hoped he had a rotten night.